My name is Brandon Ballard, and this is a presentation from Chapter 5 of the book Organization Behavior by Stephen McShane. This chapter is about employee motivation. The learning objectives will be to explain how human drives result in employee motivation and describe the three drive need-based theories of motivation. Explain employee motivation using expectancy, organizational justice, and goal setting / feedback theories. Compare and contrast job design approaches that increase work efficiency versus work motivation, and describe three strategies for improving employee motivation through job design. Define empowerment and identify strategies that support empowerment. What is motivation? Motivation is the engine that drives human actions. It can range from losing weight for a wedding or going back to school to get a degree. Motivation is also very important in business and organizations. Motivation is one of the four essential drivers of human behavior and performance. Motivation affects the intensity, which is the effort, persistence, which refers to time, and the direction, meaning are you productive or counterproductive, going toward a specific set of goals. Effectiveness being the most important dependent factor, you can see how each of these factors, or the lack thereof, can manipulate the effectiveness of each employee. More specific to a work environment, there is the topic of employee engagement. There are various definitions of the concept. One could be one being the employee's emotional and cognitive motivation, self-efficacy to perform the job, perceived clarity of the organization's vision, and their specific role in that vision, and a belief that they have the resources to get their job done. Related to this definition, others describe it as the commitment to the work and meeting company goals, and can often result in employees getting carried away in their work. The next important factor that we need to speak about is drives. Drives are innate brain functions that correct deficiencies and allow us to adapt to our environment by producing emotions to energize individuals. Drives produce emotions and generate human needs, which are goal-directed forces that people need. Some common drives are awareness of surroundings, acting as, for example, acting when you see a stranger in your space, which can lead to defense mechanisms, which is when you sense danger both physically and mentally, or social interactions on all levels, from your relationship with your child to your relationship with your coworkers. There are many theories that uh, explore the human needs as relate to general all the way to business and organization. First theory that we will discuss is Maslow's need hierarchy theory. Maslow's need theory puts needs into five basic categories: physiological, which is food and water; safety, which is having a stable environment and being free from pain; belongingness, which is love and affection and interaction; esteem, which is through personal achievement as well as recognition and respect from others; and the top, self-actualization, which is self-fulfillment of one's potential. There are two other needs that are not included in the pyramid that are noted as the desire to know and the desire for aesthetic beauty. Some of the key points in Maslow's theory is it takes a holistic view, which means it looks at all the drives that work together as opposed to looking at each drive and how it works individually. Also, there's a humanistic approach, meaning higher order needs are influenced by people and personal interactions, not just by your instincts. Although very influential, the Maslow's need hierarchy theory is not considered to be completely accurate because people don't fit into small categories. When you factor in people's personal background, values, and customs, they will alter the priority of these categories. The connection between values and needs suggests that the hierarchy is unique to each person and it can change over time. Another needs theory is the learned needs theory. Needs are shaped, amplified, suppressed through social norms, self-concept, and past experiences. Psychologist David McClellan theorized that these needs can be strengthened through reinforcement, learning, and social conditions. He highlighted three of these needs in his learned need theory. The first is the need for achievement. That is, a learned need in which people want to accomplish reasonably challenging goals and desire unambiguous feedback and recognition for their success. People who have a high need for achievement don't use money as a high motivator. These people seem sometimes like to work alone, and difficult tasks actually heighten and improve the feeling of their achievement. The next category is the need for affiliation. Need for affiliation is a learned need in which people seek approval from others, conform to their wishes and expectations, and avoid conflict and confrontation. Now, this typical employee will be great at coordinating roles or sales roles where they can establish long-term relationships because their primary goal is to please the others, please the customer. These employees, though, would be bad at decision-making positions, especially positions where there is distribution of resources. The last learned need is the need for power. A learned need in which people want to control the environment, including people, material resources, to benefit either themselves, which is personalized power, or others, which is socialized power. As stated in the definition, there are two types of people that use the power. The people that want it for personal gain, personal interest, and then there are people that want power just for the status of it. And of course, frequently, leadership people in upper management are people who have the high need for power. The next theory that we will deal with is the four drive theory. And we know that emotions play a large part in an individual's motivation. That has led us to the four drive theory. The first drive of the four drive theory is the drive to acquire. This is the drive to seek, take control, and retain objects and personal experiences. Now this goes beyond basic food and water, but it also is relative to the status of the person in society. The next drive is the drive to bond, again, which is to form social relationships. This explains why people form social identities by aligning themselves with various social groups and obtaining some of the concepts that they believe in. The next drive is the drive to learn. This is the drive that we have to satisfy curiosity and understand ourselves and our environment. The fourth theory is the drive to defend. This is the drive to protect ourselves physically and socially. This is an equivalent of the fight or flight response when you face personal danger. The recommendation for the theory is to ensure that individual jobs and workplaces provide balanced opportunity to fulfill the four bonds, optimally an environment to fulfill all four main drives. Moving on, we will explore the expectancy theory. The expectancy theory is based on the idea that work effort is directed toward behaviors that people believe will lead to desired outcomes. Employees are motivated to achieve the goal with the highest expected payoff. There are three main points in the expectancy theory. The first is the E to P expectancy. This is the individual's perception that his or her effort will result in a particular level of performance. Some of these applications include select people with required skills and knowledge, provide sufficient time and resources, and provide coaching to employees who lack self-confidence. The objective is to increase the belief that they are capable of performing their job successfully. The next expectancy theory component we have is the P2O expectancy. The objective of this is to increase the belief that good performance will result in certain outcomes. To apply this, you measure job performance accurately, describe how employees' rewards are based on past performance, and provide examples of other employees whose good performance has resulted in higher rewards. The third component is outcome values. This is anticipated satisfaction or dissatisfaction that an individual feels toward an outcome. The objective is to increase the expected value of outcomes resulting from desired performance. Applications of this include distribute rewards that employees value, individualize the rewards, and minimize the presence of countervailing outcomes. Moving on to organizational justice, everyone wants to be treated fairly, and this is proven true also for the workplace. It is pretty understandable how treating employees fairly will motivate them to be effective and productive in their position. There are two types of procedural justice. The first is distributive justice. This is the perceived fairness in the outcomes we receive compared to our contributions and the outcome and contributions of others. The second is procedural justice. This is the fairness of the procedures used to decide the distribution of resources. We look at both forms of organizational justice, beginning with distributive justice. A third factor in organizational justice is equity theory. Equity theory is a theory that explains how people develop perceptions of fairness in the distribution and exchange of resources. Employee responses to perceived inequality include reducing outputs. The next response will be to increase outcome, meaning ask for a raise. The next type of response that could become from perceived inequality would be to increase the comparison others' outputs, i.e., ask their coworkers they'll do more work, especially those who are perceived to be better off. The last, reduce the comparison others' outcome, which would be to ask for the company to decrease the comparison others' rate of pay or compensation. Other ways that we deal with the thought of inequality include changing our perception. This is the belief that the coworker is really doing more, or that the higher outcome he or she receives really aren't so much better than what you get when compared to yourself and the comparison person worker. Another way to generalize these perceived inequalities is to change the comparison other. This could be comparing yourself to someone close to your job classification or someone close to your pay scale. And the last option will be to leave the field. This could be taking more vacation and sick time, moving to a different department, or quitting the job. The next important point of the chapter revolves around goal setting. A simple definition for goal setting is the process of motivating employees and clarifying their role perceptions by establishing role objectives. This makes their position and objective clear, and this also amplifies the aforementioned intensity and persistence of motivation. and now they have the direction. More effort when they have a specific goal as opposed to when you do your best. It can be measurable and is time bound. This is referring to specific goal setting. You have a precise goal, you have a precise task to do, as opposed to, you know, being told to do your best or uh, give the best effort that you can. You have a specific goal. The next type of goal setting you can have are relevant goals. These goals must be relevant to the individual's job and within his or her control, meaning that they don't have goals set that don't even factor into their job performance or their job description. The next goal setting is challenging goals. Increasing the intensity and persistence of work effort and making the worker a more active thinker are both results from having challenging goals. Going right in hand is goal commitment, which is the next component of goal setting. Now, this will be able to determine if your employee will be able to make their challenging goals, because if they don't have commitment, then they probably won't succeed on challenging their challenging goals either. The last component of goal setting is goal participation. This is basically the employee having input in setting their goals. The goal setting is usually more effective when the employee participates because it commits a greater commitment. The employee is greater prepared because they understand the information and the goals set, and they feel like they're a part of the whole process. Another important factor in motivating employees is job design. Job design is essentially the process of assigning tasks to a job and also the interdependency of those tasks to another job. Some components of job design include job specialization and scientific management, which both deal with subdividing large jobs and tasks into smaller task elements and standardizing them to achieve maximum efficiency. There are 5 core characteristics of a job that have been identified to give employees more satisfaction and motivation. The first is skill variety. Skill variety is the extent to which employees must use different skills to perform their job. Task identity. Task identity is the degree to which a job requires completion of a whole or identifiable piece of work. Task significance. Task significance is the degree to which a job affects the organization or a larger environment. Autonomy. Autonomy deals with freedom and independence when it comes to procedurally completing work. And job feedback, the degree to which employees know how well they are doing from a direct sensory information from the job itself. Other design processes that motivate employees include job rotation. This is, again, the practice of moving employees from one job to another. This allows them to develop more skills, to develop, more multitasking ability, and increases the value to the company.